All right, so for this story time, it's going to be probably a little bit short. I don't remember a lot of the very specific things. Like, I can't go in depth about like each particular game because it was about a week ago. But basically, this last week, two, not the most recent weekend, but the one before it, I went to Battle Hardened Richmond because I was going to be on the East Coast for the next week after, and I figured why not? I'll stop by. And I also wanted to give my boy Kano one last ride. With the new Mistvale cars and heroes that are coming out, it feels like Kano might get kind of pushed out of the meta in a really bad way. Not that I'm opposed to playing Kano when it's like not the best time to play Kano. I've definitely done that a lot of my life, but it looks pretty rough. It looks pretty rough. Another illusionist that has ward stapled on all of their cards is gonna make it really tough for Kano to do a lot of damage. Enigma seems like she's gonna be very popular. Katsu gets a bunch of new stuff, which is a bad matchup for Kano. There's another assassin that's much better into Kano than the current assassins. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that's going to probably make it a little bit more difficult for Kano to shine. So I'm thinking this might be my last Kano tournament for a long time. We should send it. So I'm going, and this was a bit last minute. So I'm actually by myself. I have my own like hotel room. I'm not going with anybody. But I do know a lot of like the flesh and blood people, like the community, so I expect to see people there that I know, right? And Michael Fang and Brody Spurlock are at every tournament, so at least I can count on having them to talk to. I get through my flight, no big issue, honestly. It's like 2 legs, nothing very difficult. The only thing is like I order food when I get to the airport, and it's like really bad. The food's like not good, so I just like take some bites to get some calories in me, and then kind of like move on. Get on the plane, fly, no issue, land. I get into my hotel room. It's kind of shit, if I'm being honest. I was staying at like a Best Western, I think, and it was like kind of garbage. I don't know if that's how all Best Westerns were, but this one was like incredibly humid inside of the actual like hotel. Everything was a bit run down. It just like wasn't the best. That's all of them? Okay, yeah. So yeah, I was like, this kind of sucks. But, I'm not going to let it like upset me or anything. I'm so fucking hungry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order some food and read some book, play a game, something like that. And so I order some Chinese food that looks pretty good. And I go and I take a shower, and like I'm looking to play like a game on my phone, right? So I take a shower, and I'm like, I have a really bad habit of like taking my phone in the shower because I'll like surf Twitter or like I'll like put on a YouTube video and just like let it play as I'm taking a shower. It's like not a smart idea, but I'll just like put it on one of like the high up soap holders and just like kind of do that. And I knock it over and it falls into the shower and water gets all up in it. Now, like phones today are actually really water resistant. They used to be not at all, right? But they're actually really water resistant. However, this time it was not the most water resistant. So I get out of the shower and I like am letting it dry, right? My phone's ticking down. It's like 15%. So I'm just like letting it dry. I have it like basically like propped up into the air conditioner so that the air's blowing into like the electrical plug-in socket to like dry it out a little bit faster because you don't want to charge it after you get water in it. That's like a big no-no. And my food finally shows up. I'm fucking starving, man. I tried to eat at the airport. The food was too bad. Starving. Get my food. Start eating it, and it's fucking terrible. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad that, like, honestly, I shouldn't have eaten it at all because clearly something was wrong. But I was, like, so hungry that I just, like, kept eating. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to DoorDash something else. It's, like, 10 o'clock at night. I just want to eat some food. And then, like, read my book or play some games. So I just start eating this Chinese food, which is, like, really bad. I get through, like, half of it before I have to throw it away. So I'm still hungry. And then my phone battery keeps going down lower and lower and lower. So, like, I can't actually do anything. because it's down to like 5%. And I kind of need it for my alarm tomorrow morning. But I also need it to like Uber around everywhere to the convention center and back. I usually use it for like the pairings in the actual tournament. Like, I'm going to need my phone. I'm in a city that I'm not from, by myself, traveling around. I'm going to need my phone. So I set an alarm for like 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up. My phone's completely dead. Zeroed out. This is after like not sleeping for a really long time, being bored out of my mind because I can't do anything. So I'm literally sitting in my hotel room and twiddling my thumbs for like hours. Finally fall asleep, wake up at like 3 to the hotel alarm that I set, and then plug in my phone and it fucking yells at me. Right? It's like, yo, dude, don't do that. You got water in this. Don't take it out. So I do, set it back up to try to dry it out again. My alarm wakes me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I plug it in again, and it's like, okay, fine. I'll charge this time. So I get a little bit of charge. I get up to like 17% before I have to leave. And I'm just so hungry. So I leave. I go to the convention center. And like I pretty much immediately buy some like chicken strips. And they're fucking terrible. There's a big theme of like all the food I eat this weekend being just like horrendously bad. So I'm not feeling good, dude. I didn't sleep much. I am not eating. I'm tired. My phone's dying. Everything kind of sucks. I sit down. I play the Kano mirror round 1, and I'm like, all right, cool. The new illusionist feet are out. All right, cool. Don't worry. We'll look at feet after this. So I'm like, I'm not feeling very good. I sit down. I'm playing the Kano mirror, and I'm like, okay, good. If I'm confident in one matchup, it's the Kano mirror. I'm like, I know this shit. So I sit down, I start playing, but like my brain's like not quite doing it. So like I don't have my pitch stack completely memorized. The game kind of didn't go my way. Every time I drew a bunch of cards, they were always reds. Like if I Toma Fendald, it was like I pitch a red, I draw red. I hit with my Nourishing Emptiness, I draw 4 reds. Like just not really going well. Ended up losing. My opponent played very, very well. But like I end up losing a Kano mirror in round 1, which just has me going through like a crisis in my head. I think before this tournament, in actual tournaments, I think I've lost 2 Kano mirrors. 2. Period. Like wizard mirrors are something I feel incredibly confident in. I always have. Even when I played like Magic the Gathering and I played control mirrors, spell mirrors, I was like, oh, if I'm going to be good at one thing, I'm going to be very good at the spell mirrors, right? And then, yeah, I just lose and I'm like, holy shit, why am I even here? I'm so fucking bad. I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. My phone's dying. I'm not even talking to anybody because like I didn't bring any, none of my friends are here, right? I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And it's 7 rounds. And the issue is like with a battle hardened, you can't like lose a couple rounds and then battle it back. You have to like, if you lose the first round and it's 7 rounds, you have to win all 6 other rounds. And I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta sit here and play Kano for 6 more hours. I have to win every single game. I can't ever lose. I just lost a Kano mirror, feeling like shit. And I'm just like spiraling. But I kind of like get myself together, play a game against someone who was new and very nice, and I had to explain that all my cards were arcane damage and that you can't like, yeah, he like on the first card he played like AB3, but then on my first card he like blocks, like actually blocks, and I'm like, oh, that's not quite how this works. So that one was a win, obviously. And then I just kind of like keep winning. I just kind of keep getting there. Things are kind of going my way. I actually feel like I'm playing really tight. But in order for it to matter, you have to not only top 8. Top 8's cash, right? You get money. You get like $150 for top 8 plus like a playmat. And some clout because you're in the picture. But you have to make the finals. Because if you make the finals, it's worth like 500 cash plus a PTI, a Pro Tour invite. And not like you're invited to the next Pro Tour. It's a transferable, sellable, bankable Pro Tour invite where you can use it for any event you want, or if you don't want to use it, you could sell it to someone else. Usually they sell for around 700, 750 is like kind of the going rate right now. So you gotta make the finals. And I'm just trying to stay alive, bro. I'm playing each game and I'm like squeaking them out. Things are going well. I end up, you can sell an invite. Yes, it's awesome. It's like the best system. I remember when Brian Gottlieb, sorry, this is a tangent. I remember when Brian Gottlieb came out and talked about the system. And initially, because I was a Magic the Gathering player, I was like, what do you mean you can sell a Pro Tour invite to people? That's ridiculous. Like, people shouldn't be able to buy entry into Pro Tours, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, he came out and released a little video where he's talking about why they made this thing. And I was, like, immediately convinced. It's such an amazing system where, like, if you're a grinder and you want to play tournaments, but you're already qualified for the next Pro Tour, it doesn't matter. Every Pro Tour invite is worth the same as the one before it, right? Because you can bank it for Worlds. You can sell it to somebody else. And then, like, there's a lot of people, especially because Flesh and Blood is a game where the average player base is older and, dare I say, more mature than I've seen in other card games, where the average age of people at these tournaments are, like, older than me, and I'm, like, 28. And so people, like, some people are just busy. They have professional lives. They have kids or whatever, right? They have families. But they're really good at the game and they want their shot. Or they just weren't able to convert into, like, the finals of a Battle Hardened, right? They just, like, they kept losing in the finals of their Pro Quest. They only could play 2 this year, and it just, like, didn't quite come together. So they can, like, buy an invite older than 28 while it's ancient. I know. Yeah, my social security check comes tomorrow, actually. You can buy a Pro Tour invite and prove it, right? If you say that you're good enough to compete on this, you can buy a Pro Tour invite and you can go. And I think it's such a wonderful system. It's been so great. I'm so happy about it. And at this point, I've had a very good year, and I have 3 Pro Tour invites banked. So that means I don't have to worry about qualifying for Amsterdam. I don't have to worry about qualifying for Osaka Worlds, and then I don't have to worry about qualifying for the next Pro Tour. But I did end up, spoiler alert, winning a Pro Quest, like the week, I guess it's not a spoiler, the week before. So I am qualified for Amsterdam. I don't have to use a PTI. And I went from 0 PTIs banked to 3 over the course of the beginning of this year. Sorry, total tangent. This story time is going to be a lot of tangents. So I get back, we're playing the games. I keep winning. I end up playing against Brody Spurlock when he's on Azalea. And I think the matchup is rather Kano favored, and just kind of did the thing where I'm just like, oh, Aether Flare is a really good card against a deck with all reds, right? Like that kind of stuff. End up getting there, pull like a weird combo out of my ass to like do a ton of damage really early in the game, and then like end up finishing it later. And then my win and in. So I rattled off 5 wins in a row. Sorry if I'm forgetting our game. If you're like, oh, I played against you in the Swiss, and he's not even going to mention me. A lot of things I don't remember super clearly about that weekend. It's been a while, and it was like a stressful weekend for me. So I don't want to like get things wrong. Sorry about that if you're feeling left out. But I'm in my win and in against good old Michael Fang, Pro Tour champion Michael Fang. And he's on Bolton, which is like, honestly, not a very good Kano matchup if they're on like the tempo Raiden build. If they're on combo Bolton with like a bunch of defense reactions, all of a sudden it's not a bad matchup. But Raiden is a bad matchup. So we go to play. He flips combo Bolton. Thank God. And I end up squeaking it out on the turn that he's going to combo me. I end up getting there. Fortunate timing, everything kind of works out. And so I'm like talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make top 8 now. Yeah, you know, because I'm like X2, I'm 5-2. It's going to be all like 6-1s, and then like 2 X and 2s are going to make it. Pretty unlucky. So like Brody Spurlock loses his winning in. Michael Fang loses his winning in. Neither of them probably going to make it. And he's like, man, yeah, he's a happy guy pretty much all the time. But he's like, yeah, you know, it sucks. Good luck in top 8. You want a sandwich? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, do you want a Brody sandwich? Because if you don't know, Brody Spurlock always eats ham sandwiches at these events. But they're not like normal ham sandwiches. There's not like a bunch of different ingredients on it and like a bunch of different things. It's just bread and ham. In this case, he's like, oh, there's cheese on it. So it's just like bread, ham, and cheese. I was like, can you take the cheese off? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So he just hands me like a bread and ham sandwich. And I'm like, wow, thanks, man. You want to come up, Quinny? No? Okay. So just like eating a ham sandwich. He's like, "Do you want a water bottle?" I'm like, "No, I'm okay, thank you." But it was just so funny that I like beat him, probably knock him out of the tournament, and then he's like, "You want this? You want this? You want some food? I can get you some food." I don't know. It just made me laugh. They're both really good people. I like Michael and Brody a lot. So yeah, 6-1, locked for top 8. And then they do the announcement. All these people qualify. Ba 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 ba. 2 Kanos, me and one other person, and then I'm coming in 6th place. 7th place, Brody Spurlock. 8th place, Michael Fang. They both squeaked in. There's only 2 X2s in the entire tournament that like made it, and they were the 2 people, which I thought was really neat. I sit down against my opponent, who is playing KO. Sorry, I didn't play Brody in Swiss. Maybe I did. What can I do for you? Sorry, I may have gotten my facts wrong. But I sit down against a KO in the quarterfinals. And it's a really interesting game where on turn 1, I get double energy potion, which is like pretty goddamn strong. So I'm able to do like a 4-spell combo with like wildfire, I spindle, find a tome, hit a blazing, kill my opponent. Like it felt really nice. So I advanced past quarterfinals, and in semifinals, I'm playing against Brody Spurlock. And I do end up squeaking through. We do make it. We do get the win. Very good game. If I remember correctly, really enjoyable game. But I do end up making it. We make the finals, which is super exciting because, again, $500 and a PTI. Now, first place gets a sealed gold foil envelope, which the battle hardened ones are usually worth like over $1,000 because they're legendaries. So I think you could sell the envelope for like $1,500. So it's kind of a big deal. This game's worth like a lot of money. I sit down and my opponent is playing KO again, and he immediately just starts fucking me up. He is doing big ass damage immediately. He like does this thing, and then he cast bones, hits all 6. I get 1 turn. He's running chest piece. He is, yeah. So he like does a ton of damage, and then I get 2 turns. And on my opponent's 3rd turn, so on my opponent's like 2nd turn or whatever, he has like a cast bones, 5-card hand. He pops chest and then savage feasts me. So he's like gonna discard a card, draw a card, and it's looking pretty doomed. He's gonna attack me for $1 million, so I can either like try to block and then like go to my turn and play the game. But I've gone through actually a lot of cards because of like Spindle, and I've been like opting a bunch. I've seen a lot of cards, and I've seen like 0 wildfires and like 0 blazings, I think. So none of my combo pieces yet. But my hand is like blue tome, and my arsenal is tome. And I have a deja vu potion on the field, and I think like an energy potion. So I have like a ton of resources. I get to draw a lot of cards, and one of the blues is a Gaze the Ages. So I get to like look even deeper if I'm remembering this correctly. And I just decide, fuck it, we ball. I know all the cards in my opponent's hands are reds because of the cast bone flip ups. And so I say, you know what? We're gonna go for it. We're just gonna send it. My opponent's got like 2 cards left in hand, red, and I'm just gonna find a combo piece. And if I find a combo piece, my opponent's probably dead because I get to draw all these blues. I'm digging. I probably look at like 20 different cards this turn, and I don't see my combo pieces. And unfortunately, I die. I don't get there. I do have a little like picture of the moment. I think like Michael Fang took this picture where, yeah, it's like me playing against my KO opponent who beat me up. But it was a really good game. Well done to my opponent. He played it well. He obviously blasted me. But yeah, it was fun. It was a really fun event. Like I said, $500 and a PTI. Not mad about that. He ended up opening Trench for his gold foil, for any of you interested in that. Didn't expect to do super well this event after everything that had happened. I'm still like starving so bad. So bad. So hungry. But I'm talking to like Brody and Michael, and we're gonna go out with some of the Realms games guys, Keith, and we're gonna go get some dinner. So that's what we do. We go get dinner, and we're all yapping it up, having a good time. I order food at some pub, and it takes about like like an hour for the food to get there. I order like a baked fish with some vegetables, so like not a lot of calories. We're talking like 600 calories maybe, because I was gonna order that for like an appetizer. And then I was going to order like more food after. But it took like a full hour for them to get me this baked fish. No, it was actually good. It was actually good. Ate it. I'm fucking hungry still. So some of the other people, like the Realm Games guys, ordered their food, and it takes like an hour and a half for their food to show up. And I'm like, okay, well, everyone's kind of getting ready to leave. I don't want to put in another order. So I'm just going to go back to my hotel and I'm going to DoorDash. Go back to my hotel. Still hungry, starving like Marvin, eating probably 1,200 calories all day. I didn't eat much the day before. My hotel, shitty hotel. I DoorDash Wendy's, and it's starting to like sprinkle outside. So I take like a nice long hot shower. I put on my pajamas. I'm in bed. I get on DoorDash. I DoorDash some Wendy's, and I click OK. It's like $20 worth of Wendy's. Which doesn't go as far as you'd think it would. And then I click like pay, and it normally says, okay, expect it to be 40 minutes. They got to make the food. They got to go get it. Here's the expected delivery time. It said, hey, your order is going to be ready in approximately 20 minutes for you to pick up. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean for me to pick up? I DoorDashed this food. I don't want to pick it up. That's the whole point of DoorDash, is someone else picks it up and brings it to me. So I go to like cancel the order. Microseconds after this screen pops up. And it's like, no. They're already making the food. You can't cancel it. I'm like, bullshit, no, they're not. It's been 5 seconds. But it won't let me cancel it. So I have two options. The Wendy's is 0.8 miles away. I can get up, put on real clothes after I've been in bed, and walk a mile to this Wendy's and then walk a mile back. Or I could just eat the $20 loss and starve more. Because I wasn't going to order it again based on like principle alone, So I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm so hungry. I put on some clothes. I put on like my sweats, my joggers, and like a hoodie, right? And I start walking, and it's like sprinkling a little bit. But when I get about a quarter mile towards this Wendy's, it starts pouring. Not like a little bit, like pouring. So I have to turn around. Because ain't no way I'm going to walk through this storm. A mile there and then a mile back. I'm a quarter mile in. So I turn around immediately and just start walking back. But it's raining so hard that by the time I get back to my hotel room, my boxers are completely soaked through. There is not a dry part on my body. My clothes are completely soaked in every direction. And I didn't even get my fucking food. So I get back to my hotel miserable. I'm freezing. I'm wet. It's humid. I feel sticky. And I'm so hungry still. Everything's going poorly. The only thing that went well this weekend is the battle Hardened. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I just don't eat. I go to sleep instead. I wake up and I'm like, bro, do I even want to play in this tournament? And I'm like, yeah, I probably will. Fine. Okay. So I get in an Uber, go to the tournament, decide to play Kano again, sit down, Kano mirror, and my opponent says, you're going to blast me. I don't really know how to play the Kano mirror. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then my draws are a little awkward, but I'm so out of it because I'm so hungry and just not feeling it that I'm kind of fatiguing myself, where I'm just I don't have a real plan at all. So I just like get to the end of my deck, realize I have 2 reds left, go uh-oh, pull the trigger, and just like don't like I misremember my stack and like just mess it up even worse. End up dying. Totally my fault. Lose my second Kano mirror of the weekend. I'm like, holy shit, I lost 2 Kano mirrors in a row. This is unreal. I never lose Kano mirrors. Next round, play against someone. I end up winning. It's like dash IO, and I just combo immediately, basically. End up winning. Play another one, another matchup. It's against like Bolton. I lose again, and I'm out of the tournament. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was playing against a Bolton, and they're at like 10, and I have Aether Wildfire in my arsenal, and Stormstrider's still up, and Ragamuffin's still up, and I'm like, surely they're dead, and then I just can't do any damage. I like Ragamuffin's into a red, have to put Tome of Aetherwind back on top, draw 2 cards of Tome of Aetherwind. They're both reds. Kano, it's an energy potion. I fucking die. It was like such a string of bad luck. And I'm like, all right, whatever, we're out. So then the next round, because I'm just going to keep playing, though, get my Elo back. I'm playing against Betsy, basically like 100% matchup. So I'm like, all right, cool. I play against this Betsy and get fucking smacked. I'm playing like pitch stack Kano into a Betsy. I should never lose the game. But every single time my opponent has overpower, I don't have my Oasis Respites or my Sink Belows, and my stack doesn't work. So I can't pitch these cards. And then when I draw 3 defense reactions and my energy potion, they command and conquer me and then pummel me. And I'm like, this is the worst day of my fucking life. I can't block anything. I have a defense reaction, arsenal, 3 defense reactions in hand, and an energy potion. Like, I'm just losing this game. Oh my God. It was so bad. Yeah. I just get dominated a couple more times, lose the game. I'm not even halfway to my stack. It was like so unreal bad. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. So I just left. I was so sad about losing the Betsy game. I couldn't even imagine that I could one day lose to Betsy while on pitch deck Kano. So I just leave. I go sit down and I eat I go to just like a pub bar place and I just like eat so much food. I eat so much food. I go back to my hotel. And I'm just like, whatever. I'm just going to stay in my hotel until my flight tomorrow. But the issue is my flight the next day is like 5 o'clock p.m. And it's currently 12:30 in the afternoon the day before. So I end up spending like the entire day just sitting in my hotel room, just like reading books and playing games on my phone. I end up playing games of Magic Arena and it's like sealed. And I get so unreal tilted that I'm just sitting in the bed, just fuming. Just fuming. But I make it through the night, and then I wake up in the morning, play more games on my phone, and then decide I'm just going to walk the, 2 miles to the airport with my luggage instead of, getting a $25 Uber because I have so much time. So I walk for, an hour or something. Get to the airport, sitting there at the airport for fucking 5 more hours waiting for my plane to come in. But there's an issue that a little later after we take off, there's supposed to be a really big storm coming in. But we should take off before it's a problem. So I'm sitting there waiting, playing mobile games, reading books, same old. Fucking tired of looking at my phone all weekend. And then I get a notification that my plane got delayed from a maintenance issue. Something was wrong with the plane, so they have to get us another plane. And that delay lasts just long enough for the thunderstorm come in. And the thunderstorm is bad. It's a big one. Every plane gets grounded. We get delayed for another 2 hours before we finally get to take off. And I'm just miserable, man. Absolutely miserable. Finally take off though. Get out of there. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole story. That was my battle Hardened. It's such a funny weekend because for that weekend, the next week was great. The next weekend was really, really fun. But that weekend, everything went so poorly except specifically the tournament. The thing I went there to do, I got second and got what I wanted out of it, which was another PTI. But everything else, including the tournament the next day, went so poorly that it was just like such a weird event. I was just like miserable the whole time, even though what I wanted to happen had happened. So yeah, that's the story time this time. I know it's not like a super bombastic one. I just wanted to kind of share with you guys my most recent tournament experience and everything. I expect some more exciting story times to be coming up here pretty soon because we have nationals, and then the Pro Tour in Amsterdam, and I'm gonna be trying to figure out a whole new hero. Like, bro, looks so disheveled. My hair's really long. Okay, and yeah, and now you can make fun of me for losing to a Betsy. Yeah, so I think on stream and on YouTube at some point for the next like couple weeks, you're probably gonna see some content around me trying to learn likely Enigma, deck building, gameplay, that kind of stuff. Never suggest another battle hardened to you again. Hey, I took second. Can't be that mad. Can't be that mad. It was like, I'm glad I went, obviously, but it was just funny how like everything else was pretty disastrous. And yeah, that's the story. Thank you guys for coming by, and see you next time.